success in life does not depend on you being dealt a good hand. It depends on you playing the hand that you've been dealt well. We all we all could be better positioned in life. We all could be better placed, But it's not about where you were born. It's not. There are people in so-called developing countries or poor countries who are doing better than some people in so-called developed countries. That's the point I'm making. So it's not about your circumstances necessarily, it's about what you make of your circumstances. Hello and welcome to Future Fit. Lovely to have you all join us today. It's one of the things I really look forward to every week because I love spending this time with you. So Future Fit is all about empowering us to be prepared for our future. So we want to live life by design, not by default. So what we aim to do here is just to help us, equip us, inspire us to think into our future and to be intentional and deliberate in how we design and create our future. So that's what Future Fit is about. It's about getting us all future fit. So as you know, we started this during the lockdown, and this is one of the good things that's come out of lockdown actually. So you think about that, and if you don't mind, you can share with us, share some good things that have come out of lockdown for you. For me, this is one of them because I started it during lockdown and I've decided to just continue. So that's a great thing. But it's wonderful to have you all join us today. Like I say, as you join, just say hello. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're watching us from. Tell us something good that's come out for you out of lockdown. So today I have a great show. I've got a very special, very special guest. Darren Llyons is going to be joining us shortly. As usual, I've got my future fit thoughts that I'm going to be sharing with you. So last week I was talking about perspective. We were looking at some of those things that hold us back, that prevent us from really going for the life we want, really pursuing our dreams. And we looked at fear. We looked at different kinds of fears. We looked at fear of criticism, fear of success. We looked at fear of failure, and we really talked a little bit about fear of failure. And I shared 5 thoughts I thought could help us to put fear of failure in perspective, or rather to put failure in perspective to help us remove that fear of failure. So I talked about the fact that failure is unavoidable. So if we recognize that, then we should just stop trying to avoid it. And that it's actually it's a part of success. You cannot succeed without failing. We talked about the fact that failure is not our enemy. Failure is actually our friend because when it shows up, it tells us the truth. It tells us there are things we still need to learn, and that's a good thing. We said there are really no failures, only lessons to be learned. And we talked about the fact that failure is not an event, it's actually a process. So if we are intentional in investing and developing ourselves over time, then when that opportunity comes for us to do something that could either result in success or failure, we increase our chances of succeeding. And we also said failure is not final, but giving up is. So today I want to stay in this theme of perspective or perception, because like I said last week, our perception is our reality, and I think it's something that we really need to grab hold of and make it part of our daily thought life, daily living, to just be aware of our perception on things and the way we view things, just to be more aware of it. So I want to stay there for a while. However, if you have any topics that you would like us to cover on Future Fit, if you've got any questions at all, please feel free to reach out, put it in the comments if you want to, or send us a direct message. I want to hear from you. I want to know how we can serve you. That's why I'm here. I'm here to serve you. So if there are any specific topics that you think, oh yes, I would like you to talk a little bit about this, then please let me know. But today, before I bring Darren on, I want to share 5 thoughts with you that I think will help us keep the right perspective when we're going through tough times. So I want to share 5 thoughts with us that will help give us the right perspective on tough times, because you know what? There's something that is guaranteed. Life happens to everybody. So we've all globally just gone through a really difficult, a really tough time. But you know what? Before COVID-19, there were people who were going through tough times. There were people who perhaps were not even directly affected by COVID-19, but they were affected in other ways. So what am I saying? Today it could be COVID-19, tomorrow it could be something else. We will always face those challenges. So I'm hoping that with what I'm going to share with you today, it will help you to remember, when you're going through tough times, if you remember these, I'm hoping that it will help you really cope through, thrive through those tough times. So help us build our resilience, I think is what I'm trying to say, because we need resilience. Resilience is just that, your ability to bounce back, so we need resilience. If we're not resilient in life generally, and especially in business, if you're in business, then you could just crumble. There are lots of, at the moment they're expecting that suicide rate will go up. Already we're being told that a lot of people are being affected by negative mental health. We had that problem before, but COVID-19 has made it worse. So, we all could do with building up our resilience. So we're just better equipped to cope with tough times. I think one of the things that COVID-19, certainly in the UK where I live, one of the things that COVID-19 and the whole, situation around that has just made me realize is how almost reliant we have come to be on the government. It's almost like we just want them to spoon feed us. I remember, after when we started to come out of lockdown and the government started to give us directions on things to do and things to bear in mind, and they talked about how many people can be in a garden. That at one point they said, okay, you can have a garden party, and then somebody asked how many people can be in the garden. And I'm like, come on. We're social distancing. They've said keep 2 meters apart. Why are you asking how many people can be in a garden? It depends on how large the garden is. So it just seems to me that we want to be spoon-fed, but we have to come to that place where we take responsibility for our lives. The government can only do so much. They're doing what they can. They're giving us guidelines. You in your business, for instance, I know lots of businesses that haven't gone back to work, even though the government has said it's okay. So we just have to a large extent, I think, take responsibility and stop waiting for somebody to give us permission to leave, as it were. So anyway, I'm going to share, that's my little thing out of the way. I'm going to share with you today 5 things that I hope will help you deal with tough times. Before I carry on, please share the video, please, so somebody else can join us and watch with us and be encouraged and inspired by this program. And also like the video. I like to see all those like and love hearts flying all over the place. I love it. It warms my heart. So so let me get on with it. 5 things that I think will help us. So I want to remind you of a quote I shared with us, I think it was a few weeks ago. I said Albert Einstein said, in the middle of every difficulty, in the middle of every obstacle is an opportunity. I think you remember that. And so what I'm hoping with today's program is to help you and myself, whenever we are now in the middle of that difficulty, to actually remember this, that actually, even though I'm in the middle of a difficult situation here, and it looks like there's an obstacle here, there's actually opportunity here. But there's a mindset that we need to develop to be able to recognize that. And it's not just something basically, I want that to be our default. Okay, so I want that to be our default. For most people, when they're going through tough times and difficult times, the default is to begin to maybe look for somebody to blame, begin to have a pity party. For most people, that's their default. But I want our default to be, okay, this is where I am. There's good that can come out of this. How do I get that good? Okay, that's what I'm hoping to achieve with today's program. Like I said a little while ago, out of COVID-19, Future Fit has emerged. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So number 1, my first thoughts for you today, something I want you to bear in mind. Life is tough. Okay? Life is tough. Everything worthwhile is uphill. Now, why is that important? Why is it important that we bear that in mind, that life is tough? Because if you don't, you will expect easy and fast. You will expect things to just come to you easily and for it to come fast. And when it doesn't happen that way, you can get discouraged. See, I'm a kind of can-do person. It's no surprise that my business is called Can Do Academy. And so because I'm a can-do person, I I do tend to expect things to happen quickly. I expect, just come on, let's go. It'll be okay. It'll happen. And so I'm like that. And so when things don't happen as fast, as quickly as I expect, I do tend to like, what's going on here? But also for me, because I'm a can-do kind of person, it's easy for me to say, okay, I just need to persevere. I just need to hang on. It will happen. However, if I wasn't that kind of person, I could very easily get discouraged. So I think if we just bear in mind that life is tough. Life is tough. I'm not saying expect bad things to happen to you, but just understand life is tough. So when tough times come, just understand it's part of life. Okay, so I think that will really help us. Number two, there's always an answer. This is a big one for me, and I'm sure I've shared it on this program before. You have to know that that there's always an answer. There's always a way. There's always a way. Don't give up. There's always an answer. I'm talking about things perspectives or truths that you can imbibe that will help you through tough times. So whenever you find yourself facing a challenge, facing a difficulty, never say to yourself, this is the end of the road. It may mean you have to adjust your plan. It may mean you have to change the strategy, but there's always a way. There's always an answer. So I really need you to know. Let me just share something with you. It's a very small example. So I run a women's breakfast meeting in the town where I live. We've been going for just slightly over a year now. And I remember when we were going to start, I started to ring around because I didn't want the ladies. Some ladies offered to make the breakfast, but I didn't want the ladies to make the breakfast. One, I wanted it to be a treat for them. Two, I didn't want them rushing here, there, and everywhere trying to get breakfast ready and then getting to the meeting early and all of that. I said, no, we'll get a restaurant to provide the breakfast. So I called different pubs around town. And everybody just said they couldn't do it. And I was a bit surprised. So I called one that was quite popular. I called them, and the lady I spoke to said, oh, we don't do that. I'm thinking, why wouldn't you? That's extra money for you. I'm asking you to cook the breakfast. We will come and pick it up. But so I just didn't get it. But they said they couldn't do it. So one day I was going into town, and I thought, okay, I'll walk into the pub myself and speak to the manager. And I walked into the pub, spoke to the manager, and he was like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And that was it. And they've been cooking our breakfast ever since then. I remember one of my mentors, Paul Martinelli, saying, never take no as an answer from somebody who does not have the power to say yes. He said the person I spoke to over the phone was was a waiter. And they told me no, but they're not the ultimate person to make the decision. So never take no as an answer from somebody who does not have the power to say yes. That's just a simple example. If I hadn't persisted, maybe I would have just, resigned myself and say, okay, we'll cook the breakfast ourselves. So there's always an answer. There's always a way. Okay. Number 3, both good and bad happens to us all. And I think this is one that can be difficult for some people to get their head round because of our sense of what's fair and what's right and what's just. We think, oh, that person doesn't deserve a break in life. That person doesn't deserve any good thing. They're a bad person. But good and bad happen to all of us. Okay, I probably don't like it myself, but I've come to accept that's just the way life is. I'm a person of the Christian faith. And when I read the Bible, I see it all through that book, that good and bad happens to us all. When it rains on the farm of the wicked farmer and the good farmer. That's just the way life is. Why is that important? It will help you, number one, not to get too hard on yourself when things are not going right. Because there are people who think bad things happen to them because they've been bad. No, it doesn't necessarily mean it's because you've been bad. Okay, so there are people who crucify themselves and they say, I deserve this because of my past or because of this, and they consider themselves unworthy of good things. No, something bad might be happening to you, and it might have nothing to do with what you've done. Bad things happen to good people. That's the bottom line. Bad things happen to good people. Don't ask me why, but that's just the way life is. I'm talking about things that we can remind ourselves, thoughts that we can imbibe that will help us go through tough times. So like I said, one, it will help you not to crucify yourself, but it will also help you not to get frustrated when you see people you consider to be wicked prospering. Okay, don't try and, you're not the judge. Again, my faith teaches me there will be a time when there will be judgment. I'm not the judge, so I shouldn't get frustrated when I feel like people who don't deserve a break are getting a break and I'm not getting a break. No, I just need to live my life and trust the one that I trust in to make what is mine come to me. Okay, so good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. That's number 3. Number 4, I want you to remember it's only a season. Okay, we're talking about coping through tough times and difficult times. It's only a season. I want you to think back to your own life. Think about the tough times you've had, or the good times even. Seasons don't last forever. That's the good thing about seasons, right? So in winter, those who like summer are counting the months to summer. In summer, those who like winter, I don't know who those people are, to be honest. But there are people who like it cold. My husband is one of them. I don't get it. But yeah, so in summer, those who like winter are counting the months to winter. So you have something to look forward to, is what I'm saying. You always have something to look forward to because it's just a season. So when you're going through a difficult time, I want you to remember it's just a season. This too shall pass. So that should encourage your heart. It should give you the strength to keep going, knowing that as you put one foot in front of the other, you will come out of that dark time. You will come out of that season. The sun will shine again. Okay, so remember this. It's only a season, and it doesn't matter how dark the night is. The sun will rise in the morning. Okay, that season will pass. Instead of just waiting for the season to pass, though, you can ask yourself, what do I do in this season of my life? What should I be doing in this season of my life to improve myself, to prepare maybe for the next season? And that was the whole purpose of Future Fit, actually. I said, okay, so we're all going through this tough time. We're all locked in. We have nowhere to go. What can we do? How can we begin to think about how we can improve ourselves in this season and prepare for the next? So there's seasons of preparation, there's seasons of seed time, there's seasons of harvest. You just need to be able to recognize the season you're in and understand what you should be doing in that season to help you, one, get through that season and also prepare for the next season. So that's number 4. And number five, your success in life does not depend on you being dealt a good hand. It depends on you playing the hand that you've been dealt well. When you're playing cards, sometimes you get some cards and you're like, yes, these cards look good. So in life, you might think, oh, I've been dealt a bad hand. The cards that have been given me they're not the best, But success in life is not about the cards you've been given. It's about how you play the cards you've been given. And this is so important. We all could be better positioned in life. We all could be better placed, There could be places that we want to be positioned in that we think, oh, this will put me in a strong position to really advance. But it's not about where you were born. There are people in so-called developing countries or poor countries who are doing better than some people in so-called developed countries. That's the point I'm making. So it's not about your circumstances necessarily. It's about what you make of your circumstances. Okay, so that is something else to bear in mind. So when you're in a difficult situation, you're in a tough situation, don't necessarily look outside and think that your life is ruled by those external circumstances. Your life is ruled by the choices you make, the decisions you make, and the action that you take. That's what really determines success for you. Not necessarily for everybody else around you, but for you. Okay, it's not necessarily the economy, it's not anything else but you. You take, you grab hold of that steering wheel of your life and you take charge. That is what determines whether you succeed or fail. Now, I am going to bring Darren on. Hey, Darren.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. It's afternoon here. I know it's morning for you. It's quite early for you, isn't it?
It is morning here.
Yeah, it is great to have you join us today. Thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. When I talked to you, I mean, you inspired me, and I knew that you would inspire our audience today. So thank you very much for joining us. Would you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself, Darren?
Absolutely. My name is Darren C. Lyons, or DC Lyons. I'm a writer, trainer, coach, and speaker here in Oklahoma City. I used to be a corporate executive running call centers, contact centers, large contact centers, both here in the U.S. and overseas. I'm in Oklahoma City. And until I had a health issue several years ago. And a lot of my story is based on my comeback from that health issue.
Yeah. Obviously, you shared a little bit of the health issue with me, but I would like you to just tell us what happened.
So several years ago, after celebrating my 50th birthday party, which was a big high in my life, as it is all folks turning 50, about a year later, I had some health issues. They've been building up for several years because of cardiovascular issues, diabetes, not taking care of myself. I had my first amputation in February of 2017. Had a below knee amputation on my right leg. And because of the statistics, anytime there's an amputation due to cardiovascular disease, within 2 to 3 years, people have the second amputation. More than half have second amputation. And I fell right in that. So a year later, back in the hospital of May of 2018, I had my second amputation below my left knee. So that, and then at the time I was having stage 5 kidney disease, which requires dialysis 3 days a week for 4.5 hours a day. My life turned from being a corporate executive to being someone who now is kind of newly handicapped. So, you know what you do when that happens. During that time, I had fluid built up on my chest, hard time moving around, and I started to wonder what would the rest of my life be like. I was fortunate to have a very supportive wife, Elaine, who was pushing me, and my faith. So I started a business. I joined the John Maxwell team. If you don't know John Maxwell, he's a leadership guru, famous for writing leadership books, and they have a team of people. I joined the team and started to build my business.
Okay, I think you've just put all that in a very big nutshell for us because I'm sure there's a lot that happened between the amputations and you deciding to join the John Maxwell team. So first of all, tell me, how did you cope during that time? What sort of frame of mind were you in when you were going through this challenging time? And just talk to us a little bit about how you this came to decide to start your own business, because when you were not having, before, when you were still very much mobile, you never thought about starting your business. You were very happy doing the corporate work. How did you come to think that you wanted to make that transition? And how did you just cope with all the emotional turmoil, I suppose, of going through all the challenging times, the medical challenges you were having? How did you cope with that?
So great question. I was at my wits' end, in my remote, however you want to describe it. There were times when I was, after my first amputation, Mary, I couldn't even get out of bed for more than a few hours a day. And you start to look at, first of all, your faith. What do you believe? Like all those things that you've been believing, all those hymns you've been singing, all the scriptures you've been reading. Now is the time to see if those things are real. Like if the Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, now is the time to do that, right? To believe that. If you believe that there's no failure in God, now is the time to really challenge those things. So I went to what I believed and said, okay, I've been saying all these things. Now, God, I need you to make those things happen.
To make it real for you.
make it real for me.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, before you came on, I was talking about dealing with tough times and how you handle tough times. And I know nobody likes tough times, but we are taught that tough times come to make us strong. And we all want to be strong, but we don't want the tough times. But that's what you're saying, basically. So when this challenge came, when this trying time came, it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity for you to test that which you said you believed, to see if you really believed it, and to see how it was going to work out for you.
And see if it was really true.
Yeah.
The things that the money you tithe, the things that you believe, the things you read were really true, and God was faithful for that. And then it was really look at, well, what's in your hand? Right? Just like what God asked Moses, what's in your hand? And for me, what was in my hand was a strong network across the world. In my corporate position, I traveled across the world and met these wonderful people in different businesses that I did. So that's all I had. So I reached out to those contacts and said, hey, I'm trying to start a business. This is what I'm doing. There was one, I'll never forget it, Mary. There was one afternoon, I wheeled myself into my office and I wrote 300 emails to people saying about my business, and I just did that. That's all the energy I had, and 3 responded, and that's how I started my business. 3 of those 300 emails responded and said, hey, Darren, I might have some work for you. So right before my illnesses, I was certified in the color code personality assessment. You might have heard of DISC or Myers-Briggs. Color code is another personality assessment, a little better, but good. So I was in a nursing home, and I talked to a buddy of mine about training some of his people. And Mary, 3 feet from my bed in my nursing home, I trained my first class in the color code personality assessment. I did a 3-hour webinar via GoToMeeting, virtually like we are, training a group of managers in Richmond, Virginia, in the color code personality assessment. 3 feet from my bed.
Wow. Okay, so this was when you were in hospital?
When I was in a nursing home, yes.
Right. After the amputations.
After my first amputation, I talked and negotiated a deal to coach a team of people and did that right from the nursing home. I had to keep the nurses and the doctors out of my room so that they wouldn't interrupt and they wouldn't know that I'm in a nursing home. And that's how my business was born.
That is remarkable. So you were in hospital and but I still want to know, I want to understand, why didn't you think to go look for another job, for instance? Why did you, what was it that made you want to go into training and coaching and starting your own business?
Well, I did a fair bit of training and coaching and speaking in my corporate job, right? I had a team of people across the world, and a lot of that was bringing them on, getting them prepared to do our work and everything. So I had a passion for it. So it was a passion of mine. I thought I was good at it. And I saw an avenue, sometimes divine providence, the universe speaks to you, and I saw a couple of avenues to build a business like that. So I thought it fit in well. I could also do it from home. Because of technology, I didn't have to travel, I didn't have to move around. I thought it would be difficult for me to move around that much as a double amputee. So this is something I could do from my home. I mean, I was now back in the saddle because I could do this remotely. So that had a great deal to do with it. It fit really well with the ability. And then I have still dialysis 3 times a week. I have doctor's appointments. Trying to get the ability to walk again takes a lot of work. And so this would allow me to own my own schedule. This would allow me to make my own path, and it fit in well with my recuperation.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I understand now. So what would you say about mindset, just talking about tough times and going through tough times, because listening to your story, it's really, like I say, it's really, I find it really inspiring, because there are other people who could be in similar situation and just resign themselves to fate, as it were, but you didn't. You said, like you said, I asked myself, what's in my hand? So basically, what can I do? But you didn't feel disempowered. You actually felt, I've still got the power here. I'm still in control of my life. I've still got a lot of life to live, and I'm going to live it. But how would you say, how would you help somebody who perhaps was in a similar position, what would you say to them?
Yeah. One of the things that you said, Mary, really struck me. You said that both good and bad happens to all of us. And I realized I was the same person, although I couldn't walk, I was the same person. So I know a couple of things about amputees. There are a million amputees in the U.S. and about 185,000 amputations happen a year. And I noticed the difference between the successful amputees and the unsuccessful are the ones who look forward and the ones who keep looking back. So you can look back at your life and remember when you walked, and remember when you ran, and remember when you put your toes across the beach. I had to realize that wasn't going to happen. I didn't have any toes to put on the beach anymore. But a doctor told me that, Darren, an amputee can do anything they did before the amputation. You just have to do it a little bit differently. And once I realized that, I stopped looking back. You can't move forward while you look back.
Absolutely.
And starting a business, Mary, gave me an opportunity to stop looking back and start looking forward. It was like, okay, how do I gain my first customer? Okay, I have a customer. I'm not a very good coach. How to become a better coach, right? What books do I read? Okay, I don't feel like getting up today, because when you have to stand as an amputee, standing is half the battle, right? Getting your strength together, your mood together, your skill together. But I know if I don't stand and walk over to my desk, I can't coach that person. So it really got me to thinking more about what I was doing next, more about what I was building, and less about what I was missing out on. And after a while, you stop thinking about what you're wrong. And it doesn't mean, Mary, that you won't have tough days. It doesn't mean you won't have hard days. Even Microsoft stock had down days, right? But better days are coming, and that's what you look forward to.
Yeah. No, that's such a great thing to say about the importance of looking forward. Because what you focus on will grow. What you focus, where you put your focus, your energy will flow towards that. And like Paul Martinelli always says, you always move in the direction of your faith. So if you're always looking back, it means that you're putting your faith in your past. And that's where you're going to keep gravitating backwards. So if you just remember, you always gravitate towards the direction of your faith, where you're putting your focus, where you're putting your energy. And where your focus goes, your energy flows. And it's only a matter of time that will magnify and it will manifest. So just watch what you're focusing on. I think that is so important, what Darren just shared with us. Watch what you're focusing on, because if you think about it in your life, maybe somebody upset you, just think about the emotions that boil up again and again whenever you focus on that argument or what they said that upset you. But the minute you shift your focus to something else, guess what? Your feelings change as well. So it's so important that we're deliberate and intentional in only focusing, listen to me, focus on the things that will serve you, the things that will serve your dreams, the things that will serve your goals, the things that will serve your purpose. Don't focus on it. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not, because let's face it, you had the amputation, you can't deny it. So we're not talking about ignoring what's really happened. We're saying don't dwell on it, don't focus on it, because that's not going to help you get to the next step. And that's what you're saying, Darren. So tell me, what's been your biggest challenge since you started your business?
Well, I think the biggest challenge in starting my business has been mastering the difference between the craft of coaching, training, speaking, and the business of growing a business.
Right, yeah.
You really have to balance your craft and the entrepreneurial portion of it.
That is so true. I was just thinking about it a few days ago. I was thinking, I've been in business for coming up to 16 years now. So for the last 15 years, I've been running a law practice, and like you, I started the training and coaching business about 2 years ago, and I was just thinking, I was like, wow, for 15 years I've been a solicitor, but not really a really good business person. But joining the John Maxwell team and listening to Paul especially, he's made a businesswoman out of me, because I'm starting a new business like you. I've had to learn so much, not just, like you said, growing in my craft and in how I deliver what I deliver, but also doing the marketing, thinking about the strategies. It's just honestly, if I didn't have a supportive family, I just don't know how I would have I would have coped. It's so much to learn. So I totally understand what you're saying. But how have you found it? Do you miss the corporate world? Are you happier that you're running your own business? Do you know what's is there a difference for you?
Now, I'm a normal person. Do you miss the money? Do you miss some of the comforts and everything? But you realize how unimportant those things are when you're really doing something that serves people.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that if I'm meeting with a CFO or a pastor, an HR director or a frontline manager or a VP, I'm serving them, and I'm passionate about it. So I love coaching people. I love training people. I love investing in people. I love sitting down each year and putting together my own strategy for my business, and then watching something like COVID-19 disrupt everything and still pushing forward. I've added some clients during COVID-19. I've added some services like this DNI, Diversity and Inclusion Mastermind Group, doing this because it came out of COVID-19. So there's a joy in achieving things in corporate life, but there's a great joy in building something yourself.
And I think just the journey of discovery as well, for me, that's been priceless. As I've learned and I've grown so much, and it's just exciting. It's just exciting that you're birthing something, and more than anything else, that you're really doing something you're passionate about, something that you feel energized by. Because before I started, I was in my law practice, and I would be getting frustrated. I would be getting, just frustrated, thinking, feeling drained. I don't really want to be doing this. But when you're doing something you really love and something you really believe in, like you say, and you're changing lives, it gives you that energy. And I really believe that it's so worth it. So guys, if there's anybody out there and you're thinking, oh, because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that, I can't, I just want you to say, look at Darren. I mean, that's why we bring guests on this show. I keep saying it. That's why we bring guests. Ordinary, like you said, I'm just a human being. I'm just like everybody else. I have my down days, I have my up days, but I'm doing it, and you too can do it. So if you got a dream in your heart, I want you to know that all you need to do is just step out of that boat, step out of your comfort zone, and just start to take one step after the other, and you absolutely can do it. Absolutely can do it. Darren, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Most of them I ask all my guests, and I'm just going to let you tell us your answers. So what is your life's passion?
So my life's passion is to build a legacy for my grandchildren.
Wow, awesome. And what's the biggest lesson you've learned to date?
I call it, it's actually related to something you said in your remarks. I thought it was incredible. Life is tough. Now I call it amputee rule number one. It's based on the medical research that says it takes twice the energy to do anything with a prosthetic leg than it would take to do with your natural leg. So that's the research. And amputee number one says that from this point on, Mary, everything is hard. Nothing's easy. Everything takes your best effort.
Yeah. 3, most difficult thing you've ever done. Need I ask?
I think the most difficult thing I've ever done is the first time I was alone in my nursing home room. They dropped me off on the Saturday evening, Mary. I'm alone, and I had never used my prosthetic leg. I was standing in the corner. I slid from my bed to my chair. I rolled over to the leg, and I positioned myself between the bed and the chair and stood up on my leg for the first time. That's when I realized, okay, I might make it through this. I might live through this experience. So that was tough.
I can understand. Whose mind would you most like to get into, and why?
Wow, that's a great question. Whose mind would I like to most get into? I think I think about the person, my favorite person in history besides Jesus is Dr. Martin Luther King. I wonder what he would think about all the social unrest going on in the U.S.
So final question, what does success mean to you?
Wow, that's a question that I'm still grappling with. What does success mean to me? I know a certain amount of autonomy. I know a certain amount of being able to tell my kids, my grandkids, that even after his amputation, he lived a better life than he had before his life. Before those things happened. So I would really like them to say, I like to speak of me and say, Grandpa did better after his amputations. That would be success for me.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. So basically there's a lot of intentionality going on there. And that's, I'm sure, it's part of what's motivating you. Any final thoughts, Darren, any final words that you want to give our audience before we leave?
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you so much for having me and letting me share my story with your audience. As an amputee, a double amputee, like I said, the hardest thing is getting out of bed every morning. That's the hardest thing to get, to stand up. And I think of a quote that I once heard that, it would be easier for me just to stay in bed, right? It would be safer. I won't fall, all those things. And I think of a quote that says, the safest place for a ship is on the shore, in the harbor. But the ship wasn't built for that. The ship was built to sail. And if you're thinking about giving up, if you're thinking about not progressing forward because of an illness, because of divorce, depression, or whatever, that's not what you're meant to do. You're meant to sail. You're meant to get out on the ocean. So I just encourage your audience to overcome that faith, be intentional, as you spoke about, and move forward. Look forward, not back.
Look forward, not back. Guys, look forward, not back. Focus forward, not back. Get that goal right before you. There's something Paul Martinelli always says, hold your image. So whatever image of your future you're trying to create, whatever image of your future you have, I want you to hold that image before your face and just keep working and walking towards it. And it's only a matter of time. You will absolutely arrive at that destination. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us again today on Future Fit. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And Darren, thank you one more time for being our guest today. Really appreciate it. Darren's details are on the screen. Please hook up with him on LinkedIn, find out how he can serve you. That's all we want to do. We want to serve you. But thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to share the video if you haven't already. Don't forget to like it. And see you next week, same time, 2 p.m. BST on Future Fit. Thanks again, Darren. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.